Welcome back for another video. I'm Ehabad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. Today is day 6 on the Helicath fusion, and we're going to find ourselves back in Ice Golem, continuing to finesse the composition we put together yesterday and briefly tested in the 3 daily battles that we needed to do yesterday. Had a bit of a nightmare with the audio as I tried to add some filters into OBS to remove the mouse clicks. So I've now put together the video and I'm going to be re-recording the audio as as if I did it initially. In any case, we are now going to be looking at the Ice Golem. We only have 53 points. That's what we got yesterday from those 3 runs. So we know we need to jump into it and get on with it. We're at 129 out of 130 energy, so we have no time to mess around. We're going to jump in, do 1 run, see about those small changes on the AI did, and see if we're in a position to be running this for the rest of the day. The reality is we're still failing to drop those first 2 mobs on the first wave, so we're going to have to do some tweaking. We're not going to run anything today on super raids for 2 reasons. 1, if we do end up having a loss, we don't want to lose double the energy. And 2, we want to get maximum number of test battles in today to see just how consistent this composition is. We've only run it, this is only the 4th time we've ever run this comp in these builds, so we don't actually yet know, is this 100% team, is it a 90% team? We don't know, so we don't want to lose any energy unnecessarily. So right now, we've just seen that decreased accuracy has found its way on to Dark Hail. We really should have had enough resistance for that not to happen. It could be a 3%. It could be that we need to tweak the resistance. So it's something that we've picked up in this run and we'll take a look at after. So we know we've got 2 elements that we need to try and fix right now. 1, we're not clearing the first wave cleanly, so either we need an additional buff or we need to get more crit damage onto Seer. And secondly, with Dark Hail, we have taken a debuff. It could just be the 3%, as I mentioned, but we should at least have a look at the resistance on his gear and see if we can improve it in any way. So let's just let this run out. We're only a few seconds away from killing the boss, and then we can go in, have a look at the builds, and try and figure out what it is that we need to tweak. And for me, this whole thing is an iterative process. When you're building a new composition, until you've tested it thoroughly yourself on your builds with your gear, you need to watch it through a number of times and pick up these small changes. So right now we've gone in, 370 resistance. It should be enough, but we're just going to check all the gear pieces, see if we can glyph up just a little bit of additional resistance. Here we only have a +4 on this amulet. We could roll to +7. We did it, took 2 glyphs. We're only using rank 4 glyphs here. We're saving the rank 5 and rank 6 glyphs for CVC, as those give us good CVC points. So typically, if I'm glyphing outside of CVC, it's only rank 4 or lower glyphs that I'll be using. So again, just found with this ring that we added to get that additional buff, there was a flat defense node that hadn't been glyphed. So just throw it on, 4-star glyph, get a little bit of additional stats. We might as well always be maximizing the gear we have and maximizing the stats we have. So it's something I tend to use a lot of glyphs in that regard. So I think if you're not using them, they're just sitting in your account and being wasted. Another thing that I think we could change here is we can add Binding Darkness as the opener on round 1 for Dark Hail. Because maybe that additional AoE attack will be enough. It's slower in the animation, but it might just be enough to get the job done on that first wave. And I'm also deciding I'm going to take out the AI overrides I had for round 3 against the boss, as I want to see what his native AI does. So let's see, has that additional AoE attack done the job? Closer, we're still not cleanly killing, So we definitely need to do further tweaks, but it is a step in the right direction. So the next idea that I have now is potentially we could change the turn order. At the moment, Dark Hail is faster than Ghostborn. So maybe what will get us through that first wave is if we put Ghostborn to be faster than Dark Hail. So our next iteration in this composition will be to go and tune Ghostborn to be quicker than Dark Hail, so we get that decreased defense and that increased attack before Dark Hail does his AoE hit. So again, we'll just have to let this fight play out. We'll kill this Ice Golem again, and we'll go back and do another set of tweaking. For me, doing these tweakings or having these little mini projects also serves to kind of give some level of entertainment or enjoyment in what is otherwise quite mundane content. I'm not always trying to optimize every piece of content because that would be too much, but Ice Golem hasn't had any love for a long time, so now is as good an opportunity as any to really try and get that speed farm team going. So if we look at Ghostborn, he's currently at 246, and Dark Hail is running at 250, so we do need to find 5 speed from somewhere. He's already in pretty fast gloves and chest, so we're going to have to look at somewhere else. It looks that the helm and the shield have the lowest speed rolls on his build, so that's the most likely area we'll find some level of improvement to be had. And to be honest, like, all of his stats don't really matter other than speed. Speed's the only thing that's important for us here, so we're just looking for any piece that is faster. And we have this shield here that is on Renegade currently, but is quicker, and we need Ghostborn to be that bit faster. So we're still 3 speed short, so our next thing is this chest is worth a glyph. Double speed, 6-star accuracy chest in speed set is worthy of a glyph. I'm very short on speed glyphs though, so we'll just throw a 3-star in. Fortunately, we got the +3, and now we're at 251, so we've managed to tweak that turn order. And now we just need to fix Renegade's shield set, just give her a shield. Find one that kind of gives a reasonable balance, at least find some kind of stats that are sensible. I quite like the approach of, in the fitting room, putting one on and then comparing it against the other candidates. It's a really quick way of judging if you have like 3 or 4 different shields that you would like to potentially use. It's a way of really quickly judging which one gives you the best balance of stats, as you're effectively able to compare the items against each other. So anyway, now the real test is, do we kill it? We still don't. So even all these iterations we've done, we've added a Blood Shield ring onto Dark Hail. We've changed the turn order on Ghostborn and Dark Hail. We've changed Dark Hail's opening attack to be the AoE that's slower, but will give more damage across the board. And we're still not clearing that first wave. So the only remaining option we have at this point is to try and find another buff. So we have kind of 2 options here. One, we could put Renegade in immunity. As Ghostborn's already in a shield set, we can put Ghostborn in immunity. Or we can try and find another Blood Shield proc from somewhere. Another thing I've noticed here, which is why I was, waving the mouse like a lunatic, was we had applied decreased speed on the boss, and we don't want decreased speed on the boss. The whole purpose of this form of killing the boss by applying a lot of poison is we want the boss to take turns. for two reasons. One, we want to do as little damage in regular hits as possible, and two, we want as many ticks of poison to happen as quickly as possible. So we want the boss to kill the rest of our team, and we want the boss to take poison damage, so we don't want him to go slow. So decreased speed is definitely out of the question. So there's two things we're going to look at now. One, we're going to change the AI override, so Renegade does not do her A2 in the boss stage. And secondly, we should give a go to either trying to add another Blood Shield accessory or switching the Renegade to an immunity set. I think our level 50 immunity, our level 50 Renegade is in immunity, so we could switch the Renegades we're using without having to re-gear our level 60 Renegade. So it's partly geared in immunity, so we'll just fix the git build, complete the immunity set, get some boots, get like to a reasonable level of speed that we can actually do the run that we need to do. And then we'll test out this. So we'll still have the shield set from Ghostborn. We'll have an extra buff on the Renegade through an immunity set. We've got the Blood Shield ring on Kale. I believe right now we have a Blood Shield ring on Kymar as well. And now we're in addition adding an immunity set onto Renegade. So we're just trying to keep adding an additional buff until we find the level that we're consistently clearing the first wave. I have also added a Divine Speed set here. I couldn't remember at the time if the Divine Speed set would be additive to the shield set or if it would flag as a separate buff. I think in hindsight it actually just adds to the size of the shield and it doesn't count as a separate buff. But I thought, let's just add it on anyway, maximize all the potential buffs we have, and see if it works. So we don't want Sacrificial Ritual in the first wave. We're happy for Lash Out to be the opener if it gets to her. We definitely want Sacrificial Ritual as the opener on round 2, and then we don't want her to use the decreased speed. So we're just going to switch the Renegades to the level 50, trial it with the immunity set, fix the AI again, and now let's see if this iteration works. And again, we're so close. We're so close, but we're just not quite there. So we need to come up with another idea. So let's let this one run through, and then we'll go back and have another look and see if we can find a way to get that extra bit of damage. I mean, the one option might end up being that we end up having to see if we can get a little bit more crit damage onto Seer herself, or we might just have to accept that we don't one-shot the first wave. Fortunately, by having AI override by round, it actually doesn't matter in terms of the consistency. If we can't clear that first wave, we can still win the fight on 100% of the base, 100% of the time, assuming that we survive this boss fight 100% of the time. We won't ever have a problem in those waves, even if we don't kill the first wave in one shot, but it will add time. So the only change that we haven't done, which we've been reluctant to do, is adding the Blood Shield ring onto Kymar, because I do run him in Refresh and I run him in other content, and I've been loathed to make that change. So the only other option we'd have is make Renegade, add a Blood Shield accessory onto Renegade, and then rechange the speed tune so that Renegade goes ahead of Seer in the first wave, and then Seer leapfrogs with Whirlwind of Death. Unfortunately, we're trialing this out on the level 50 Renegade, and the only Blood Shield accessory I have is a banner, obviously, so I can't do that. And I don't want to do all the re-gears on 2 Renegades and swap their gear around. So let's just try it on Kymar. It's a one change on the ring. If it does work, then we can look at instead changing the build of Renegade, and that will allow us to put Kymar's build back. And it does work. That additional extra buff from the Blood Shield accessory, one more Blood Shield accessory. So we've ended up with 3 Blood Shield accessories here, plus all the rest of it. That is enough. So we got what? Shield set, immunity on Renegade, and 3 Blood Shield accessories. That gives us enough buffs to clear the first wave. So it's taken us, I mean, we've done quite a lot of iterations of these runs. We did, 3 runs yesterday, and we've done, I don't know, 4 or 5 runs today. And it's taken that many runs to establish what precisely we want to do on the AI overrides and what minor gearing we need to do. And now I'm spotting yet another thing, which is Kymar is actually not configured in an optimal fashion for the boss fight. I think, him using any other ability other than his A1 is only going to serve to slow us down. He might as well just be an A1 bot. It's really fast animation, and it has a chance to put a poison out, which will obviously kill the boss faster. So although we have turned off his A2 on every wave, we haven't yet turned off his A3 after the first reset on the boss. So that's yet another AI tweak that we could make. But so far, this seems consistent. And I think what we could do now is claim all of our daily energy from our daily quests, whatever we've got in advanced quests, playtime rewards. We can go claim all the energy we have. We might as well reset our weekly as well, which means later we can go and send a champion, upgrade a champion, and then have access to those refill pots if we need them. Champion training's ongoing at the moment, so it's a good time to get those rank ups done, as we at least get points for the rank up now. So, like I said, we'll go through, we'll claim all of our energy that we want to use right now. We'll leave the artifact energy for now. I just want to run it with the playtime rewards first, see how consistent it is, and then we'll come back and do the extra energy from the artifact event later. So we're progressing along in all of the events simultaneously, 8.5k points through the champion training. We've just started the dungeon divers. We're only, not even 100 points into it. But there's one more bit of daily energy we can get before we start Ice Golem. And that's from the first floor of the day of normal Doom Tower. Will give us an energy reward. So we'll jump in there. We'll do that. Normal floors, I typically just run Lioris by himself. It's a short number of turns and a very quick run. So now we've got 455 energy. We can now jump into Ice Golem, run as many multi-battles as we can. We're at queue up the 47, but we're not going to get 47 runs done at 18 energy a pop with 455 energy. We're not going to use all of our battles. But we'll queue it up, and then what we will do is we will make sure that we don't have continue multi-battle even if you lose a battle ticked. We're also not going to use super raids. And again, we want to basically have the run stop if we lose a battle, because we want to find out how consistent this team is. So if it stops when we lose a battle, we'll know how many runs we've done before the first loss. Now, we don't want to use super raids right now because we actually want to get as many runs in as possible and see how consistent it is. We'll come back either when we've had a loss or at the end of using all of our energy and see how we got on. Hopefully, we'll have won all of our battles. See you in a minute, one way or another. So, obviously, I've edited out all the runs that happened. We fortunately did not lose a single one, and I rejoin you in our 25th and final run in this set, as that was all the energy we had queued up in this first batch of should we say, bulk testing the composition, which is, we've iterated it, we've finessed it, and now we're doing kind of large scale testing, and so far it's working really well. Every now and then we do hit a frigid vengeance on the boss once nearly everyone else has died, but no matter whether it's Dark Kale and Kaimar or just Dark Kale alone, he is able to finish the job off reasonably quickly without being in any real danger of dying. So far, so good. It seems to be pretty consistently quick, and moreover, dare I say it, potentially 100%. So with that testing done, we will go and re-gear the Renegade that we had discussed before, this idea that we can put her in immunity, where I'm actually using untouchable because I just have better untouchable gear and I can reach the speed levels. Put her in the blood shield accessory, get her going ahead of Seer in the first round, and then Seer with the Whirlwind of Death will leapfrog Renegade in the second round. So that way we'll save one turn on the second round, but we'll still get the buffs we need to clear the damage on the first round. We need Renegade faster than Seer in the first round to trigger the Blood Shield banner. So with that done, we can now go to the Artifact Enhancement event, get that next batch of energy that we know we're going to have to put in. We know we needed to do additional work today, as we lost yesterday in terms of Ice Golem. We've now also finished our advanced quest on our second clan boss key, etc. So now we've got 602 energy, and that's all of the energy we're going to use for the rest of today, other than general refills. And we can use one of those 50 multi-battles that we were given back in the anniversary events to make use of our 600 energy. At the moment, RSL Helper is not been updated, and I quite like using the multi-battles for this because I can just tell it to easily, just stop me if we lose one. So again, we'll queue up all the battles, however many 602 energy will get us, and we'll rejoin once again, either at a loss or at the end. So see you in a minute. So you rejoin us 6 runs in. We've neither lost one nor is this the end of our energy. So you might be asking yourself, why are we looking at this at all? And it's simply because I observed again that there's some minor AI changes that we could do to further finesse it. So although we had to do Kale's AoE on round 1, we can actually get rid of the AoE on round 2. We don't need that to clear the wave, and it is a slower animation. Furthermore, Kaimar's A2 is a slower animation than his A1, so we're just going to do those 2 minor tweaks, and once again, we'll let it play out, and we'll rejoin either at a loss or at the end. So you rejoin us 27 runs in addition to the 6 we just did. So that brings us to 33 runs in this batch, plus the 25 we did earlier. And we've not encountered a single loss in this entire set of batch testing. So it seems, touch wood, that this could be a 100% team. I will want to run it further, either in tomorrow's Ice Golem farming or in another Ice Golem tournament. But so far, so good. Let's just get this boss killed and see what we've got. Now, interestingly enough, you'll see we now have a new fastest best time of 43 seconds. So we have absolutely annihilated what we had achieved previously. So all of this little finessing, all of these tweaks we've done, it might not have looked like much, but ultimately we've managed to shave off on the fastest time nearly 20 seconds off what we'd achieved before, which is quite remarkable, really. I didn't ever think this team could achieve a 43-second clear. Moreover, not only did I not think it could achieve a 43-second clear, I didn't think I'd find a team that was sub 1 minute in Ice Golem that is also seemingly 100%. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I went back through the recording, found the run in question, and I'll just let it play out with a little bit of music. Catch you in about 30 seconds time. So there we have it. Quite a remarkable run. So what we've got left to do today, do that rank up that I mentioned earlier. Obviously ranking up a goat. Makes sense that we'll then use the ascension also on a goat. So we're just getting the rest of the daily activity that we need to get done. We also now have one of the epics up at level 40. I've got them up to 39 yesterday and they were just in my pit overnight for that final level. We'll now rank up Kinagashi to 5-star as well. I will hold off on the ascension for now. It will be worth a little bit more, so I might as well save that 5th ascension either for CVC or for the second champion training that we'll have to do, which is the champion training tournament where you do get points for ascensions. I can confirm that the comments were right. You do not get any points in champion training events for ascensions. Anyway, in the Ice Golem, we've still got 1 day, 22 hours. We know we're going to be pushing to 2750 points. I don't think we need to do any more today. We're progressing that nicely. We also have 1 day, 20-ish hours on the champion training, so we're going to have to do that at the same time. We've still got a lot of work to do on Dungeon Divers, but we do have 2 additional days of Dungeon Divers beyond the Ice Golem and the champion training to get the 3750. We are, I would say, in inverted commas, behind schedule on the Dungeon Divers, but my intention will be to catch that up on the 1 day overlap with Fire Knight. So I will use additional energy if I need to top up the Dungeon Divers in Fire Knight. But for now, my focus remains that I want to get champion training and Ice Golem done in the next 1 day, 20 hours, where both of those events end. So I'll be trying to make sure that on the Thursday, when these events end, and obviously the Fire Night only starts on the Friday, I'll try and use all my energy on the Thursday morning before those champion training and Ice Golem events end to have a minimum sort of wasted or dead energy in on the Thursday before Fire Night kicks off on the Friday. I'll probably just end up being in Minnow for that, to be honest, because I've got so much Minnow to do. Or if I need any additional potion keeps, we'll just do that. So the last kind of thing we're going to look at now is we can go and rename this provisional team as our Ice Golem 24. I'm confident enough that it will now be my farming team for Ice Golem 24. And just to reiterate what the AI overrides are: Karma Burn priority round 1 and 2, Karma Burn opening skill and then turned off on round 3. For Kaimar, only use, well, basically turn off A2 and 3 on round 1, turn off A2 and 3 on round 2, and then in round 3, turn off Abyssal Gaze. And in actual fact, we only really need him to do Seal of Magic once, so maybe we can save some time if we tell him to use just Seal of Magic as an opener and then have it turned off as well. Who knows? I mean, we'll have to run a big batch again and get lucky with that RNG all lining up. So anyway, that's the AI overrides for Kaimar. Renegade, we want on round 1, just no sacrificial ritual, just turn that off. In fact, I'm now noticing we've still got the level 50 in here. So even though we re-geared the level 60 in Untouchable with that Blood Shield banner, we never actually put her back into the team. So this entire time we've been running the level 50, which is kind of funny. Sometimes these things happen. You're trying to finesse, you're trying to bin max, and then you make mistakes. But anyway, turn off Sacrificial Ritual in round 1, priority Sacrificial Ritual in round 2, and then turn off Lash Out in round 3. We do not want that decreased speed on the boss. And then Ghost Spawn, Ancestral Spirits, priority round 1, priority round 2. And then between Energy Bolt and Petrify, I actually don't know what he's got a faster animation for. So I don't know whether I want him to be using A1 or A2 as that interim skill before Renegade gets the reset off. In round 3, we set it up that he does Ancestral Spirits and Petrify's turned off. Who knows? Dark Kael, we are opening with the AoE A2 on the first round. We need that AoE hit to get the clean kill. On wave 2, we've now turned Binding Darkness off, as it is a slow animation. I don't know what's faster between A1 and A3. He would have been using the A3, but maybe let's try turning off the A3 and see if the A1 has a faster animation time. It's one of these things, sometimes it's obvious what has a faster animation, and other times it really isn't. So, we'll try and tweak again and see if we do get a faster time, or if that 43 seconds is the quickest we can do. And it's kind of the only way you can find out which animation is quicker. It's kind of difficult otherwise. Once again, we forgot to actually swap out that Renegade. So let's just make a note of what the AI overrides were. Find that level 60 Renegade, put her in, reconfigure the AI overrides, use our small remaining energy to do one last run, this time with that level 60, and see, does that work? Renegade will use Sacrificial Ritual in round 2. She won't use it in round 1. So we've got AI overrides that will do the job. Enough energy, one last run. Let's just let it play. And all I can say in the meantime is, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback's very welcome. Clean kill on wave 1. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.